That goes to my next question. What? Because like was it
It's like a
Peterson's?
KSI versus Logan match,
Yeah,
but it's Phil versus Peterson.
Peterson's diet is very like meat oriented, supposedly.
uh,
What do you think about being vegan or vegetarian?
I feel like it's
Um,
very difficult to
it's
be a
difficult.
realistical thing
Um,
for me.
my I'll just speak from what I've heard through my mother, who's a nutritionist.
Mm.
Um, she says that it's possible, but you need so much. You need to eat so much to make up for what you're losing
Yeah.
when you make the switch, that it's very difficult. Most people, she says, don't do it right. So, like personally, I love meat. I can't help it. I really love the stuff.
Mm.
Um, and
I love chicken.
I respect
I like fried chicken.
people that choose not to. That is their own decision. But like I personally cannot make that choice, and it's difficult a lot of the time
I
to
feel I
remain
feel like
healthy.
I feel like it's more the people, because not a lot of people will be like, oh, you should be vegan because it will
Yeah,
solve
people
the.
do it for different reasons,
No,
and
but
that's
like a lot of people like they sort of shame people vice versa, right? They shame people who eat meat for endorsing mass production of cows or
right
whatever, and
because
then
You
vice
shouldn't
versa.
shame them, man. You shouldn't shame
I,
them. It's
I
not
think
their fault.
you see, I think political action could solve that
Hmm.
because if we have harsher like laws to direct the way they produce it and make it more ethical, force them to make it ethically, we'd still have the meat, but it'd be ethical.
But the
I
problem
think it's a lot
is,
more difficult
it
than
costs
theory.
more money. It's all about the
Right.
dollar signs.
Of course. That's
If you
why the
want a happy
government,
cow, you got to pay up. That's the thing.
yeah,
People don't want to pay the extra money, man. That's the sad thing. Like, if you go to the grocery store and you see the deal on like chicken or beef or ground beef or whatever you see like the deal on, you're gonna buy the deal. You can be like, hey, it's a solid deal. I'm getting more for like less. But by buying it, you're encouraging the
yeah,
businesses that perform malpractices in their like industries
yeah,
to produce more of the same cheap stuff that you like so much.
yeah.
If you want a happy cow, you gotta pay more. That's the
That's
bottom
true.
line of it. If people aren't willing to invest in cleaner and safer foods, like raising cattle in like an open space, like free range chicken, for example, like that stuff like was a huge movement, right? And it still is, still this day.
Yeah,
Like you see like labels on the chicken breast or whatever you're buying, like free range chicken, free range eggs. Like if you have the choice, you should invest in the companies that actually do those good practices
yeah,
and put those that don't respect the health, security, and safety of their clients, put them out of business,
yeah.
and keep those who perform like the good practices in business and give them your money. If
Agreed.
people
Yeah.
vote with their dollar signs, they
Right
vote.
now, yeah, that's the only way
That's
to
it.
have
You
any
can't
choice
change
over
anything.
anything.
Yeah, that's it. You can lobby against them. You can sue them. But hey, man, like as Phil said before, they're huge corporations and they own the government practically.
They have so
Like
much
the food
power.
industry, it's crazy. The food industry, but especially like all the sweet stuff, like the cookies and stuff like that. Like everybody knows it's unhealthy, but they're everywhere. Why?
Yeah.
Because they own like they own the government. They want to sell their products, man. Like and they could like pump as much sugar in there as they want so they can like create this addiction with like clients and stuff.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
it's
But
crazy.
also, I think there's another problem with there's also a factor of, even if you were to raise every cattle in a humane way without like mass production, I think the level the quantity of it would diminish as well.
Would be less.
But
Yes.
that's a problem because we're so much right now.
Yeah.
Overpopulation is also another factor to put in, because like right now mass production is a result of was it needs over was it what the fuck you call it, demand supply over demand.
I
And
feel
so
like
because we're
yeah.
so much demand, it's very easy for corporations to make money out of it, because they're like, oh cool, see, they're running out, we can
Right.
make money out of this. So I feel it's like it's a chain reaction of events.
But
So
it is
It
possible.
is
It is
possible.
it
Yeah.
is possible to have a balance, right? It is possible. You're not gonna raise every single like animal with love and integrity. That's not
Right.
it's
yeah,
it's not a
yeah,
perfect world,
but yeah,
we can't do that even if we wanted to. we can't do that because it's unrealistic and it's impossible because there's so many of them.
Wow, would you imagine your
However,
heartbreak when you fucking slaughtered your 1 millionth fucking cow that you've hugged? It'll be, oh Jesus Christ, mate.
I know it'd be soul crushing, but like they didn't do that. You know what they did? They built
Yeah,
machines
hormones.
to do that for them.
They put hormones on them to make them grow quicker and all that stuff.
Yeah, see, that's the malpractices that I was talking about.
Well, yeah, exactly.
These are the
Because-
sort of like practices that should put these businesses out of business.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the thing is, they can't wait for the natural process of things. They wait for whatever.
They need
But-
profit and they want more profit.
Like you can
They
get
would
a
survive if they did things ethically.
yes.
Just that they want that much more profit and they have the power to manipulate
I'll
government.
tell you something very interesting too. I just remembered. Like, what about like you've seen those like patties and of beef that they grow in the labs and stuff, and they actually made it happen. It's crazy. Like they take a small like portion of like the cow's cells and they manage to keep it alive and reproduce to like a chunk of meat. Like you can actually cook that shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like if you invest in stuff like that, like I wouldn't mind if my piece of steak was grown in a lab as long as it tastes good and it gives me the same nutritional benefits as any other.
Yeah, but that's not gonna give you. There's gonna give you side effects. The same thing with like those processed foods that you were talking about.
But chicken, they managed to reproduce a chicken nugget with no side effects at all. Like it's an identical chicken nugget, dude.
Yeah, they're already doing these big leaps.
Well, I mean,
these are the kind of things that I'd put my money into, you know,
for reproducing cellular.
Molecular
artificial
cooking is
foods.
picking up.
I mean, okay, artificial foods has its limits. I mean, I wouldn't
because we're
expect
discovering artificial food right now.
No, it's not really artificial because it
it's
comes from the original. So artificial means
exactly,
it's
but
created.
it's process created. It's not part of the real food. It's like you took one cell and you reproduce it in a manner however you want to make it.
But that's not artificial though.
It's not artificial.
It's not
it wasn't
artificial.
Birthed out of someone's body.
It's not artificial.
If I were to create a human being the same way, it is artificial. I won't fucking.
No, it's not artificial. Artificial is mean you made it from scratch in the lab. You have nothing to base it on.
So you're gonna tell me if I were to take my cell and I were to recreate a different Daryl, a clone of me, that's not artificial.
It's not.
It's not.
It's fucking tripping.
No, it's not.
Artificial would be a robot.
Exactly.
No.
Artificial. It's like artificial
Anything
intelligence.
that's not born naturally, it will be considered artificial.
Wait. Say that again.
Anything that was born unnaturally.
Unnaturally.
So say like if it's not birthed out of like say if a human's not birthed from a vagina.
I think that's a wrong definition of artificial because also a lot of humans are not born from,
in the wombs. Yeah, exactly. Like dude, some of them were born in an incubator, dude. Like you have no idea.
I was in an incubator for a while.
You call Phil artificial? That's fucked up.
No, he wasn't created in an incubator.
No.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the same.
But here's the thing.
But here's the thing.
Creating something out of a small cell from
Yeah,
scratch.
but it doesn't mean that Phil's artificial though. That's the thing. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. But he wasn't created in an incubator. He was raised. He was there to grow some popcorn.
Okay, listen. Phil started off as one cell, right? We can all agree on that.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, we can
take that cell, little Phil in the little cell, right? You put it in an incubator. Phil divides in 2. And then Phil divides to 4. And 4 divides to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all Phil.
What happens to real Phil?
Artificial.
So what happens to real Phil?
It's all Phil.
It's all Phil, dog.
So if you fucking clone someone, it's not artificial.
Look. In okay. Do you think that have you ever watched like Star Trek?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
So you think they're all the whole cast is dead in your opinion?
Well, what are you talking about? Next Generation?
Like everyone in Star Trek. Do you think?
Well, I don't like.
Do you think that some characters are alive? That any of them is considered alive or real or not synthetic?
Well, no.
Because when they beam up, they disintegrate, and a perfect clone with all of their memories is put at the place where they teleport to.
Yeah.
So it's taking out all the little molecules and reconstructing them at another place. So it's effectively cloning.
Yeah, but they're not real.
But cloning isn't artificial.
But everyone would agree that the Star Trek characters are real. They are
Well,
not
they're
like
fine real
synthetic
because the Star Trek character were written, so they're like,
no.
but
That's
I'm
not
saying
what
like
I mean.
if that
I
happened
mean
in real life, that'd
synthetic.
be a whole
Okay.
different story.
Okay, I'm gonna give you like a very like basic example, like very like it's like very basic. Okay, there's two kinds of medicines, right?
Sure.
There's artificial medicine and there's natural
Yeah.
source.
Those
of
grown,
medicine,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, those unnatural medicines that are created in the lab are called artificial medicines.
Yeah, but
right?
how were they created?
In the lab from scratch from chemicals that they make in the lab. You know what I'm saying?
But those chemicals came from something.
Yeah,
They're
from
made.
raw material, but that raw material isn't like it's not
made of.
Okay.
it's not organic. It's not organic. It's unorganic material.
Okay, yeah.
But it's raw material, right? It comes from somewhere, but it's not organic material, so you can call it like non-artificial.
So you know steel and iron, right? You know how
Mm.
steel is made with irons with mixed with carbon. You think
Mhm.
steel is natural or iron is natural?
The basic element on the periodic table
Yeah.
are they're
They're real.
natural elements.
Okay,
they're
yeah, okay,
natural
agreed,
elements.
agreed, yeah.
Yes,
The
they're natural
ones
elements, yeah.
who aren't in the periodic table, are they natural?
They're
or are they
artificial.
Okay, exactly. So if you mix the different components like H2O, is that natural or is that artificial?
I mean, of course it's natural, bro. But like, listen,
That's
like,
a very specific context, and
But
you can't really.
because
I mean, nature formed it. I mean, okay, listen. Nature formed H2O. Okay, we didn't make this
But
stuff.
that's why, because
Water was there before us.
to be fair though, because humans attributed meaning to each word, so ultimately it could be
everything is very.
it's
like-
completely like arbitrary. It's up to
But you get the
exists in
point, though,
universal.
Daryl. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
But yeah.
like between like organic stuff and unorganic stuff, it's a bit cloudy, I feel. But if you compare like artificial and non-artificial stuff, like the medicines that come from like plants, like they make creams out of it.
Yeah.
They come from like the natural oils you get from like
Yeah.
fruits, like coconuts and stuff like that. Like I call this stuff like organic. It's not artificial, or there's some
It
artificial.
was natural. It's a mix of
Yeah, it's a mix of both, but I wouldn't say it's artificial. I wouldn't call it artificial.
It's made of the same material that we're applying it to.
It's still from
Thus,
nature.
it has
Exactly.
the base components.
Exactly. So technically, if for example, when we go back to the part where like if cloning
the whole tangent, bro.
like the whole process of like
the whole fucking debate on what's artificial and what's not.
Making
exactly.
another Phil.
Just to like summarize stuff, like
Phil number 2,
clones are not artificial because they derive from a organic origin cell, which is you. So if I clone
a cyborg isn't artificial.
No, of course it is. A cyborg is made out of fucking metal, bro, and it's
a cyborg is part of you.
Cyborg is part.
Oh yeah, true. Cyborg is
Android is
artificial. Yeah, right.
artificial.
Like
Yeah,
RoboCop. Yeah,
exactly. But
Cyborg is both.
I feel like RoboCop could be compared like Vaseline.
But that's the thing, though, because
like RoboCop
now
is a mix of stuff, and Vaseline's a mix of like organic / unorganic stuff. So I'd put him in the same category as Cream, bro.
RoboCop is so little human, though, that
But the thing is, because like when you talk about like
it's just a lung in the head, bro.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, when you're taking a one cell into making a food out of it, and you're mixing that one cell with many different components that aren't natural, to me, it doesn't make it like it's like a McDonald's, for example. Like there's barely anything real about this shit, and like there's side effects to McDonald's.
Get fat.
And
really
like
fat.
Oreos or whatever that has processed materials in it. That's why I feel like if those were the norm, it would still, like Cheese Whiz, for example, those would harm you more than it would do you good, like whereas like a natural something that was born out of like that's birth or that came from nature, that has a better chance of helping your ass. Like an artificial carrot versus a real carrot has two different things going on. You know what I mean?
But if you create a carrot based on the original carrot, I still don't feel it's artificial.
But yeah, it's only one piece though. That's the thing. That's why I have mixed feelings on that, because I don't want to eat
But
like
you multiply it. Ultimately, you create the same.
The cells
thing.
multiply. That's my point. That's
but
the point
to create like you have one cell of carrot, but they'll add some shit to it to preserve its color, to preserve its like that's you're talking about. Was it cell manipulation? It's like cell programming, and that we're like not even close to that level of technology yet.
Oh, we're getting there though.
Yeah,
We're
we are
pretty
getting
close,
there.
bro.
Getting there.
But in terms of making it like as of right now, as of like if we're talking about self manipulation or like to complete like reprogramming, self reprogramming, fine, okay, I'll give you that because you could actually program yourselves to make a certain whatever the fuck. But like as of late, like right now, it's all processes. Like there's a part of it that's real, and then they mix it with a bunch of shit and be like, yeah, here you go.
I
Let's
mean,
see it.
if we follow your argument on that, then I'd still argue that we could just put all the funds that we're giving to these companies and put that money into the research
To research and to
enhance, you know,
Yeah, it's
cells and all that.
yeah,
And
it's also a very interesting topic where like like a lot of people has been donating for years and years of millions of
yeah,
dollars.
and it's all the same people from Texas.
Yeah, and
And,
nothing really goes. Like cancer
Yeah.
hasn't been fucking like So I'm like, what are you doing with the money though?
Yeah, I mean, research gets halted on purpose by lobbyists.
Well, yeah,
and they go buy themselves a yacht.
Yep,
because the pharmaceutical industry is getting fucking bank out of this shit.
big pharma is pretty evil.
So if you find the cure to cancer, be like, nah.
What do you? Yeah, I was about to say that. What do you guys think about that? They got the cure and they want to give it to people because they feel like they can make more money off chemo.
I suppose they could. It's not like the most impossible
Scenario.
conspiracy theory. I still consider it in the realm of conspiracy theories.
It'd be the biggest lie in human history. I can tell you that.
It'd be pretty.
They've kept like the cure hidden for like hundreds of years, for example.
Would you imagine one of the conspiracy theories like, yeah, it could actually breathe in space, and some guy tests it out and gets sucked Dumbass. What are you talking about, man? I don't believe that shit. Of course you could breathe in space.
That's called a one-way ticket. You're not coming back from that.
But yeah, that's a whole different podcast.
We could do a whole other podcast on
This
that.
is a conspiracy theorist next episode, man.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Tune in for the conspiracy theories next time.